Hi team, welcome to Cloud Pandit in this Azure Data Factory Master Program. In today's session, we will talk about complete hands-on as we discussed. So in this particular hands-on lab, we will see how to copy data from source blob storage to sync blob storage with the dataset parameters. What is this dataset parameters? If you are copying a data from one source container to the another container, then we don't require dataset parameters. But let's imagine in real time, it's not a one folder or one container, right? It will be hundreds of folders which you need to ingest from source storage to the sync storage. When you are ingesting hundreds of containers from source to sync, what we need to do is we need to parameterize and we need to complete data ingestion with the help of a single copy activity. In order to do that, the first thing that we need to learn is dataset parameters. So in this particular session, we will learn how to copy multiple source blob containers data into the sync blob containers with the help of the dataset parameters. So we will be using total 24 steps in order to complete this particular lab, out of which 9 steps are for creating the dataset parameters. 15 steps is basically for creating these services, creating linked service and all other jobs. Let me quickly explain you what are the first 9 steps, what are the 15 steps, then we will start immediately the lab. So we will not delay anything in the theory, we will quickly move on to the lab. So before we move on to the lab, let's quickly see prerequisites for this particular lab. If you see, we need a two storage accounts. One is for the source blob storage, one is for the sync blob storage. So then we need one Azure Data Factory. Within the Azure Data Factory, I'll be using a one integration runtime of type Azure integration runtime. As you are aware, if you are copying data from cloud to cloud, we must have to use the Azure integration runtime. Next. So I needed two linked services. One is for the source blob, one is for the sync blob. I need two data sets. One is for source blob dataset, another is for sync blob datasets. I will be using a one activity called copy activity, and I will be using a pipeline called ingestion pipeline to ingest data from source blob to sync blob. These are the prerequisites. First 9 steps, if you see, okay, 9 steps, or these are the 9 steps. If you see, the step 1 is you will create the data sets. Once you create a data set, first thing that you need to do is you need to click on the data set. You will see connection, schema, parameter. There will be 3 tabs. Step 2 is you need to click on the parameters. Step 3 is you need to click new parameter. You need to add a parameter name. The parameter name always recommended as ds underscore param, which indicates dataset parameter. What is that parameter? For passing the source container name, src container nm for name. Once these 4 are completed, now you need to move from parameter tab to the connection tab. So in the connection tab, we need to pass the container name here. The 6th step is click add dynamic content, and you will see this is the parameter which you have created that will be displayed when you click on the add dynamic content. That will be displayed here. You just click on this. 7th step, you just click on that, so that this eighth step, whatever formula it is, we have written here, right? It is not written by we. When you click on the step 7 parameter, it will automatically generates this. Once this is generated, you just click OK. So then you will see at the container place this particular option at the red dataset dot ds underscore param underscore source container. Okay, this is how you need to parameterize the data sets using these 9 steps. Don't worry, we will discuss each and everything. It just to take 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes to complete all this, not even 2 minutes to do these 9 steps. Very simple. I just have created so many steps unnecessarily basically to make you understand, but very easy. Okay, let's move on to the next 15 steps. The step 1 is you need to create a source blob storage. Step 2 is you need to create a sync blob. Then step 3 is you need to create a Azure Data Factory. Step 4 is in the source blob, you need to create a cust folder. Similarly, you need to create a employee folder. These two folders you need to create and upload the real data in the cust and employee.csv in the EMP. Okay. Next, the 5th step is basically you need to create a cust out and EMP out containers in the sync blob. You need to create the cust out and EMP out. Why you created these many? Customer data I want to load it into the cust out. EMP data I want to load it into the EMP out. That's why. Okay. Even if you want to combine customer data, EMP data into the single folder, that is also you can do. Once we complete the lab, I can explain all those, very easy. Okay. So now the sixth step is you need to open the Azure Data Factory. In the Azure Data Factory, seventh step is you need to create a source linked service. Eighth step is sync linked service. Ninth step is source data set. 10th step is sync data set. So 11th step is you need to create the pipeline. So 12th step is you need to add the copy data activity. So once we have the copy data activity, you have used the 9 steps to create a parameterized data set. At the ninth one and 10th step, here you will use this ninth step, that is a source data set and sync data set. You will use those 9 steps to create the data set parameters. Once you create those data set parameters, you can just choose the source data set at the source side, sync data set at the sync side, and you can pass the respective values, the folder names in the respective containers. And with this, the pipeline will be completed. Now you have to run this pipeline. So that is the 15th step, which basically help you to run the pipeline so that this data will be loaded into the sync containers. Okay, so this is what we will do. Let's not waste any more time. We will jump into the lab. Okay, come here, portal.azure.com. First we need to complete 15 steps, then we will be moving on to 9 steps. Okay, I'm sorry. So I need to log in into the cloudpandit@gmail.com. Okay, automatically it recognized my password. Okay, fine. The step one is I need to create a storage account one. Let's create the storage account one. Go inside storage, create a storage. This is what source storage. Okay, so I'll be creating a resource group called cloud pandit dev rg. Okay, which is already available. Just click rg1, then you can say cloud pandit source blob 1. Okay, this is source blob 1. Just click review plus create. So it is validating all details, everything is fine, create it. Okay, what is the second step? Go to the second tab, portal.azure.com. Let's create a sync storage. Select storage accounts, go to storage accounts. Let's create the sync storage. Click create. Okay, come down, you see this is the subscription, this is the resource group which I have created, and storage account name is cloud pandit sync blob 1. Okay, so this is a sync blob 1. So this I can able to create wherever I want. So central US I'm creating, then click review. Okay, so this is also validated. Step 2 is completed. Step 3 I'm creating portal.azure.com. Now again search for data factories. Go to the data factory, create a data factory. Okay, so this is the resource group dev-rg1 cloud pandit. Okay, ADF version 2. I'm just giving ADF version 2. Let's see, is it available? Yes, name is available. Yes, it is not available. You can just add, so cloud pandit dev. Okay, otherwise you can say cloud pandit dev ADF v2. Okay, check it. Is it available? Yes, it is available. Just click review plus create. Click create. Okay, so the 3 steps are finished. So if you look at this, so the step 1, what is the step 1? Step 1 is you need to create the source blob. Step 2, create sync blob. Step 3, create the ADF. Okay, now we have completed these 3. Now what I need to do, the step 4, if you see, step 4 is we need to create the cust and EMP containers and upload the data at the source blob. So I'll be moving on to the source blob. Okay, this is our source blob. Go to source blob. Okay, we need to create 2 containers. Go inside container, see, which basically help you to understand, even if you have hundreds folders, how you can able to do. Okay, so let's say this is a cust container. Let's say you have EMP container. Let's go inside cust. Let's upload the browse for files. Let's see here real data.csv. I will also show you what data I am uploading here, okay, to give you more confidence that I'm not using very complex data, very simple data. Okay, you can also create this particular data and save it as a CSV. Go back, go inside the EMP folder. Now upload the employee.csv file. Okay, browse for files, come down, cloud pandit datasets, comma, you can just say employee1.csv. Okay, open this, upload this, then click on the employee.csv file and check the data. You are able to see some kind of a employee data we have received here. Okay, now so step 4 is completed. What is the step 5? Step 5 is we also need to go to the sync blob and we need to create two containers, cast out and emp out. Okay, let's do that. Go to the sync, go to resource. Now in the sync blob also we need to create a two containers. Let's quickly create two containers. Cast out, sorry, you need to just click here and put it here, cast out, create it. Similarly, click container again. You can see emp out, created. Now you are seeing, right, we have created the cast out and the emp out sync containers with the empty data. We have not uploaded any data. Okay, so 5 steps are completed. 6th step is we need to open the Azure Data Factory. Okay, let's open the Azure Data Factory now. So the third tab where we created ADF, let's open the Azure Data Factory. Launch the Data Factory Studio. Okay, so Data Factory Studio is opening. Once Data Factory Studio is open, what we need to do? The next step is source connect linked service, sync linked service we need to create. The 7th and 8th steps are we need to create a one linked service for source, one linked service for the sync. Let's see now. Yeah, if you see Azure Data Factory is open, go to the Manage tab. Let's create a two linked service. One is for source blob. This is a blob. Okay, this is ls for blob and it is a source. Come down, select the subscription. This is a storage account name, source blob 1, test connection. Connection successful, you can create it. Similarly, click new to create a one more connection for our sync, ls for blob sync. Come down, select the subscription and select the storage account name as sync blob 1, test connection, created. Let's say you have a doubt whether connection is created correct or not. How you can open the existing blob? Just click on this. So you can see this is a sync blob is connected. You want to see the source, click on this. You can see the source blob is connected. Both are perfect. Now, so 7 and 8 steps are completed. Next step is we need to create a source data set and sync data set. Okay, let's see how to create the source data set and sync data set. Come here, click on dataset, new dataset. So this is a blob. Okay, CSV. I uploaded CSV data, DS for blob, and it is a source dataset. This is the linked service. So earlier sessions we have hard coded the containers if it is a one container, but we have multiple containers. That's why we need to parameterize. That's why it is saying add parameters by clicking OK at the button. So here we need to click OK to create the parameters. This is the 0th step, you can say. Okay, now we need to follow 9 steps to create a parameterization for this data set. Okay, so let me just follow 9 steps. Before I follow 9 steps, let me create the sync data set as well. New data set. This is a blob as a CSV, or we will load it as a JSON. Okay, not an issue. We will load it as a JSON. Blob. So in earlier session also we loaded as a JSON. Let me take it into the CSV as this. Okay, maybe DS for blob. This is a sync. This is a sync linked service. Here also, if you see, add parameters by clicking OK at the button, yes, click OK. So this is the 0th step. The first step, let's create a parameterization for the source data set. Step 1 is select the data set on which you want to create a parameter. Step 2, click on the parameters. Step 3, click new. Step 4, you can give the name of the parameter, ds param for source container nm name. Okay, 4 steps are completed, right? Fifth step is click on connection. Sixth step is click on container, click add dynamic content. So the seventh step is select this. Okay, so the you see eighth step is already formula is generated. Ninth step is just click OK. The formula came. It just finished within the 30 seconds, right? So that's how you need to parameterize. Okay, only one container I want to pass. Tomorrow, if you want to pass file names dynamically, you need to create one more parameter. You need to just select here how I selected this created parameter selected here, right? If you want file also to be dynamic, create a parameter selected dynamic. Now come to the sync. Okay, now come to the sync. Sync also select the data set. Second step, click on the parameter. Third step, click new. Fourth step, give the name of your parameter. Param for sync container nm. Okay, the fifth step is click on connection. Sixth step is click add dynamic content. Seventh step is click on this. Eighth step, you can see the formula generated. Click OK. You can see the ninth step, the formula is showing here. So you created a source data set with the parameters, sync data set with the parameters. Now what we need to do? Now we need to create the next step. If you see, we need to create a pipeline. Okay, 11th step. Let's create the pipeline. After pipeline, we need to bring the copy activity. You see, you need to bring the copy activity, then you need to select source data set and sync data set which you created. Now let's see now. This is the source data set. When you select a source data set, you need to see something is happening here. It is requesting the container name. Okay, so sync data set. What is sync data set? This is the sync data set. Okay, now our pipeline is completed. Only thing that is pending is before you run, you need to pass the containers. Okay, so I think some audio issue. So you just what you need to do before you run the pipeline is, so maybe I'm not sure from where the audio is disconnected. I'm showing you from the beginning of creating the pipeline. Let me delete this because I see some audio issue. Click on the pipeline, create a new pipeline, then you drag the, like you can rename this pipeline as a pl underscore data ingestion. Now bring the copy data activity. Okay, source is you can select a source data set. Sync is you can select the sync data set. What is happening when you select source data set and sync data set? If you see, the parameters are waiting to pass the container names. Let's say I want to currently pass or copy data from customer container to cust out container. Okay, you just give it like this, then click. The ninth step is debug. Sorry, this is the 15th step. Okay, so in order to do this, as you selected the folder, right? As you selected the folder, not a file. So in this folder, you want to copy everything? Yes, I want to copy everything. In that case, you need to use a wildcard file path and star. Okay, very important step. I forgot to mention that, but you need to provide your source container name and wildcard file path with a star. Star indicates all the files from the source container called cust to cust out. All the files that we have in the cust folder will be copied into the cust out. Let's debug this. This is the our 15th step. Our final step, we just clicked debug. Now what it does, it copies our data from source container to sync container. So it should supposed to load data into the cust out. Let's see this. See real data.csv. As it is, data is loaded. You can also click here and you can see whether data is loaded properly or not. You see, data is loaded properly. Now, if I want to copy another container, then you just have to change the container values here. Let's say I want to copy data from emp to emp out. Let's debug. Okay, so it is basically copying data from emp to emp out. So this is also succeeded. Now go back to the emp out container. Okay, so if you click on this employees 1.csv, data as it is copied here. Okay, as it is, data is copied here. The next and final run that I am doing for this, let's imagine source is same emp, but sync side I am saying emp data container is not there. What ADF does? No problem. If the container is not available, ADF will take care of it. ADF will create the container at the sink and loads the data. Okay, so 100% it is going to be successful. And you can also see it is successfully loaded data from employee folder to employee data, EMP data. See, EMP data. You can also see the same data is loaded here. Okay, team. So that's all. Now, thanks for watching this particular video, and we will quickly go through summary questions. Okay. So what does a linked service defines in Azure Data Factory when data set is parameterized? So when it is a parameterized or not parameterized doesn't matter. It is basically used for connection to source and destination at data stores. The answer is correct. Answer C is correct. Okay. How many linked services do you need to create for copying data from blob to blob storage when data set is parameterized? So still we need to create a 2 linked services. What does dataset parameter defines in Azure Data Factory? Dataset parameter defines the schema and structure of the data dynamically. How many datasets do you need to create for copying data from multiple containers of source blob to sink blob storage? So as you know, 2 datasets with the parameters when you have the multiple containers. Okay, 2 datasets with parameters. Which activity do you need to use for copying data from blob to blob storage when dataset is parameterized? So whether dataset is parameterized, not parameterized, we must have to use copy activity, which is under data movement activity. Answer B is correct. What is the purpose of the copy activity in copying data from blob to blob storage when dataset is parameterized? So when dataset is parameterized, the copy activity basically helps to move data efficiently between source and destination. Answer D is correct. What is the use of pipeline when copying data from blob to blob storage when dataset is parameterized? So to orchestrate and manage the data copying process, the answer D is correct. Which integration runtime do you need to use when copying data from blob to blob storage when dataset is parameterized? Doesn't matter dataset is parameterized or not. Same concepts. We must have to use Azure integration runtime whenever you are copying data from cloud to cloud. Okay, I hope everybody liked this particular video. So we are going to come up with all the labs with the step-by-step process like this. I request all of you to put your interesting comments in the comment section, which basically encourage me to work hard to prepare a step-by-step labs, and which basically helps to all of you. If you have any questions, how you are feeling this particular lab, is it fine or you need any more improvements, anything, I request all of you to put your comments in the comment section. Thank you all. That's all.